Well, as we've been reporting, the UN Refugee Agency says 3.2 million Iranians have been displaced by the conflict so far. We're going to go to Tohid Asadi live for us in the Iranian capital. Tehran also saying that Israel and the US have hit nearly 19,000 civilian sites since the war began. And I can see behind you some of the devastation that's been caused by those strikes. Just talk us through what's been going on.
Well, actually, this is day 13 since the commencement of the campaign of airstrikes by the Americans and Israelis targeting not just the military headquarters, police stations, and the state buildings, but very residential areas like this one, as you can see. And the amount of devastation, the amount of demolishing building is massive, unbelievable. And as you can see, people have gathered to just help those targeted. Several apartment buildings in this residential neighborhood have been heavily damaged by the airstrikes, and the entire section of buildings that you can see have collapsed, leaving exposed rooms, twisted metals, and piles of concrete. Rescue teams, as you can see, are basically working to help people to remove bodies from the rubble, while large trucks here work to clear debris from the streets. Nearby buildings show shattered windows and hanging utility lines as the emergency crews and residents continue searching through what was once a quiet neighborhood, now devastated by the strikes. The surrounding streets are covered with debris, shattered glass, broken balconies, and damaged cars buried under rubble, as you can see. And of course, you can see some people trying to basically take some of the remaining personal belongings of them from among the massively destructed building, and the nearby areas also impacted. As you can see, we are on the rooftop of one of these buildings, which doesn't seem to be that much stable, and human casualties is also something very tangible. We saw a lady crying whose husband lost his life in this recent strike, and we know that more than 20-30 people have been said to be killed in this strike just in this very neighborhood that you are witnessing. But it goes without saying that this is not the only neighborhood targeted across the capital. We know that there are many more. This is not just the hospitals, this is not just the schools, but the residential areas being targeted. And now there is this growing concern about the fatalities. We know that around 1,400 people have been killed, and this is the official statistics. We know that seeing the ongoing nature of these strikes, we can rest assured as a matter of misfortune that this number could grow up further and further as these airstrikes continue to target different places. In Minab, in one of the earliest hours of these strikes, we saw an elementary school which was targeted, leaving more than 160 student girls losing their lives at that very school while the class was in session. This is the huge scope, this is the unbelievably massive scope of the fatalities and damage and destruction as a result of these continued airstrikes in Iran, here in this neighborhood and in different cities. We know that more than 200 cities across the country have been the scene of these continued airstrikes. And on the other hand, we hear from the Iranian side about the continuation of their retaliatory strikes targeting the Israeli territories, American bases in the region. And right now, based on the rhetoric that we hear from both sides, the situation seems to be far from any point of de-escalation.
Tohid Asadi there talking to us from Tehran. Tohid, thank you very much indeed.